Hi, I'm Ekaterina, linguist, founder of Lingua and Lingua Plus. And a lot of people ask me, hey, what to do? I'm learning a language and then I give up and I start forgetting. And then I don't know whether I should start learning it again. Where should I pick it up? Was it just going to be an abandoned story when I learn, I give up, and I don't know anything and I forget everything? You know, if you're learning your second language, or perhaps you're multilingual and you don't know how to juggle all your languages because suddenly you don't have to use all of them as you used to. For instance, in my case, well, my sweet spot is nine languages. However, with time, I reduce this number and use in terms of, well, practice because now, well, I use probably like five, six per week depends. And at some point, I was really worried about it because, oh, what am I going to forget? Forgetting is normal. There is a process that's called attrition. And one of my friends, colleagues, Bing, studied it at some point during her PhD. And we had an interesting conversation that when you learn something and then you stop practicing, stop learning it, well, all those chains, your neurons, start breaking up in your brain or they become, let's say, thinner. However, it's not the end because in the moment when you start practicing it again, you start recalling, it starts coming back to you. And then the beauty of it is some clients, come in to me, to Lingua, saying, oh, I learned this language like 5 years ago and I haven't practiced it ever since. So what are we going to do? And we just test, just speaking abilities, seeing where the person is at the very beginning, and then go with A2, B1, sort of like false B1, let's say. And then during the first weeks, actually, client sees how some words just start emerging, like, appearing or just being on the tip of the tongue. And then also grammar constructions feel intuitive. That's because it's reverse attrition, so it's recalling. And that's beautiful because it means that you can actually recall what you forgot, especially if you studied it, like you learned an extensive period of time. What I believe even more important here is to develop your ability to learn, like to learn, the skill to learn. Because when you master the skill of learning, especially learning fast, catching the information, connecting the dots, then whatever is on your way, whether it's attrition or something else, you won't be afraid, especially you won't be afraid to forget, because you will be able to learn it much faster, like to come back to it. I'll give you an example with my Mandarin. My Mandarin, I started picking it up seriously, like in 2014, before the World Memory Championship in China. This is also topic of the conversation today. And I was picking it up. Then um, I achieved maybe like A1. Like there were lots of funny stories connected to it while I was in China. But then I stopped because again, I didn't need it at the point, like when we were trying to develop partnership with our Chinese colleagues. But eventually, 2016, I would say I wasn't like practicing that much. But 2017, again, I picked it up because I was going to Shanghai and actually lived in Shanghai. I worked there. And also I was progressing with my Mandarin. And what I did, I achieved, well, intermediate. I can say like low intermediate, so start of B1, not bad. And then I got back Europe, so again, not much practice. And what happened then later on, for pandemic times, I, well, started recalling it again. I was preparing for, well, a bilingual podcast that was held in English and Mandarin. And I had this, years of practice. So a couple of weeks before it, I just talked to my colleague. We just refreshed my Mandarin so that I could actually, well, say something, introduce myself, well, whatever comes to my mind during the podcast. And I was as well surprised how easily everything was coming back. Why? Because there is also another process that's called spaced repetition. And this spaced repetition was really well explained by Tony Buzan. Tony Buzan was the founder of World Memory Championships, where I was going back in time now. I'm a retired memory athlete. And there he was explaining that spaced repetition, you need to, well, repeat the same information, um, well, during particular periods of time. So, for instance, next day, in 3 days, in a week, they're different schedules, and you can look them up in in the internet, or if you'd like, I can also make a video of spaced repetition itself. But the thing is that when you learn something, you stop learning it, you give up, and then you take it up again, you also go through some sort of spaced repetition. Maybe it's not exactly according to the schedule, but somehow it works because all the information that you revise at the start of, let's say, your second or third round, you actually, well, go through the spaced repetition. So you revise it again, you refresh it, and it sets better in your brain. This is actually also concerning teachers. Like, I've been teaching for many years, and one of the secrets why I know so well some of, let's say, grammar rules or some particular parts of languages, like something about vocabulary, because I was learning it, well, practicing speaking, living in like those countries, and then I was teaching these languages, meaning that every time I was teaching, especially when I was fresh, I was teaching, I was also doing this spaced repetition and before no one so explicitly about it. And that would help me as well. So you just need to decide for yourself what's the best way for you if you know about spaced repetition schedule and actually try to adhere to it. Or if indeed you are in a situation when you can't juggle all the languages, you can't juggle studies, even not just studies, any subject, just remember that attrition is okay. Don't panic if you forget. Just revise, refresh it, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be every day. And just be ready when you're coming back to that language. It will take some time. Well, maybe a few minutes, a few hours, a day, to maybe a couple of weeks. It depends on the language, depends on, well, the absence of practice, but then it will all come back. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Share your comments, questions, and wait for another video on another interesting topic.